What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Man, this has been a really fucking hard video to do and to explain what's been going on and why I've not uploaded for like 5 months. So bear with me, because this is going to be a little bit difficult for me to explain, especially when I'm talking to technically no one, because I'm just talking to a microphone. So in the background we've got some Vanguard. Not that I've been playing that a lot, and it's really irrelevant to what I'm talking about. It's just something to have in the background. So as you all know, a lot of my family live in Greece. My sister and my mum and dad live in Greece. My other sister lives here with me in England, the UK. So last year in August, my mum video called me, and after they'd been to the hospital, and told me that basically she had a growth in her stomach. Didn't know what it was. Doctors didn't know what it was. Didn't know what it was connected to. They weren't sure if it was the bowel or ovaries. You know, the growth was a significant size. It was about 9 centimeters big. My mum wasn't too worried. She seemed in good spirits. Couldn't eat a lot because of the growth was pushing on a part of her stomach. But she was good. But after going backwards and forwards and getting various different diagnosis, or trying to get diagnosis, one of the doctors over there who knew a doctor over here that specialised in cancer, because that's what they were thinking it was, suggested that they come back to England, more to do with the language barrier and stuff like that, but it would make it easier for her. So at the end of September they came over. My mum was still in good spirits. She was a little bit uncomfortable here and there. I was going over there. We went out for a couple of meals. Mum and dad came here to my house with my other half, and had to carry. My mum couldn't really eat a lot, like I said, but again, was in really good spirits. Felt very optimistic about everything that was going to happen. I was taking her to the hospital regularly. But anyway, in November, there was one day that I think it was on a Wednesday. My sister phoned me and said that she wasn't doing too well and she kept being sick. Anyway, my sister spoke to the doctor. The doctor prescribed some painkillers and something to stop her being sick. So me and my sister went to the pharmacy, got the drugs, gave it to my mum, and even though she was in bed that day, she was still mum. She was still, being herself, still reasonably happy, even though she's been sick. She came downstairs. She was all like, laughing, joking. The funny thing is, a couple of days before that, it was literally like we took my sister's dog out for a walk, me and my other half, my mum and dad, and then the following day, this happened. Anyway, the following day after that, I got another phone call from my sister saying I had to call an ambulance. My mum had to go to hospital because she couldn't stop being sick. So what had happened was the growth had been pushing on her stomach and had punctured part of the bowel. So the sickness was due from the puncture in the bowel. Anyway, she was in hospital. She did lose a lot of weight. I did speak to her on the Sunday after she got taken to hospital, and she was still seemed in good spirits, but obviously because of work I couldn't go until the Friday, which would have been the 26th of November. On the 25th of November, the Thursday, I was at work and I got a phone call early evening, about 5 o'clock-ish, 3:30, and on that particular day I decided to stay at work a little bit later to clean a little bit more and whatever, and I was talking to my bosses and whatever. And my nephew called me and said that you need to go to hospital right away. Obviously, he sounded a little bit upset, and I wasn't too concerned, obviously a little bit, but kind of in the back of your mind, you always try and keep positive about anything that's going on when someone's in hospital. And then about half hour later, I got another phone call going, you need to go here straight. We need to go to the hospital straight away. So I spoke to my boss, said I need to go. Went to the hospital, and on that particular day, out of all days, there'd been an accident on 2 of the motorways that are near where I work, on the M2 and the M20, and caused massive delays. So normally it'd probably take me about 20 or 30 minutes to get to hospital, and it took me nearly 2 hours, a little bit over 2 hours to get to hospital. When I got there, Obviously, my sister from Greece had already come over because we thought it was important for us all to be together. She'd come over a couple of days before this all happened. So when I got there, my wife was there, and my brother-in-law, and their kids, and my niece and my nephew, and my sister's other half. Everyone was there. My mum wanted us all to be there, and I went to the hospital and saw my mum. She had tubes going in and out of her. It wasn't a very nice experience, but she was still in reasonably good spirits. We stayed there until about 11:30 in the evening, and then made the decision to go home because obviously we couldn't be there all night. But the following morning, I got a phone call from my sister about 6:30 in the morning. So now my mum had asked for us all to go to the hospital. So me and my two sisters and our other halves all went to the hospital, and we were there until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And over that time, my mum was in and out of consciousness, where she was falling asleep and then waking up. Nurses coming in, had to bathe her, etc., etc., change the sheets, all that kind of stuff. But we made the decision to go home and get a bit of rest for half hour, have a shower, have something to eat, and then come back. And by the time me and my other half went back, and it was about 6 o'clock or something like that. I can't remember the times exactly, but when we got back there, and my sister was there, my mum had deteriorated quite a lot. That she was pretty much really unconscious and wasn't really waking up. And considering that in this time that she'd been in hospital, she could not eat anything at all because of the rupture in her bowel. So they were just giving her glucose. So she had lost a lot of weight, was looking very thin, and then obviously that evening she was looking even worse than what she had been. But by the time we got to about 11, half 11 in the evening, we decided that we couldn't stay there all night. So we decided to go home. My elder sister, who was younger than me, but the older one, decided to stay for a little bit longer. So anyway, on the 27th of November at 1:30 in the morning, I got the phone call from the hospital saying that my mum had died, which was, as you can imagine, one of the worst things you can hear. It was the whole thing, to be honest, was pretty traumatic, pretty horrendous, and something that I never thought that I'd have to go through this early. My mum was only 70 years old when she died. So anyway, after that, I didn't work for the next month. I took some time off work. We organised a funeral. I had the funeral on the 20th of December. And then eventually I went back to work on the 27th. My dad is still here at the moment. Me and my other half are going to be taking him back to Greece at the end of March. So that's kind of where what's been going on there, and why the reason I've not been uploading videos. As you can imagine, there's been a lot more things important than doing videos for YouTube. But other than that, I got approached in February from my last job, asking me to go back and work at one of the other pubs and help out, which is what I've just done. And I've gone back there for the last 12 days or so, and it's been going really well. Been really enjoying it, focusing on that. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that my mum is gone. Me and my sisters are still, and even my other half are still coming to grips with the fact that she's not here. And when I hear certain songs like Queen, for example, because my mum, when she was in hospital, like told us all the songs that remind her of us, and the song that reminded my mum of me was Can't Stop Me Now by Queen. Maybe Mr. Fahrenheit, you might have heard it, that kind of thing. So every time I hear that song, I can't hear that song without crying. But this has been one of the hardest things I've had to do, is to explain where I've been for the last 5 months. Wow, it's just been a really difficult time, but we're all doing good. My sister Charlotte, she's got a new job. My sister Sam's back in Greece now. But we're all doing okay. We're getting through it as a family and together with our other halves and all our other nieces and nephews and whatever. Just trying to be there for each other, but without making this sound even worse. This just Man, this was fucking harder than I thought. This is like my 4th attempt trying to do this. But end of the day, I'm okay. We're all doing good. New job's going well. I still have my mum here with me. I've got some of the ashes sitting on my windowsill with a photo of me and my mum and a little indoor rosebush that my other half bought as a tribute to my mum. And then we're going to go back to Greece, like I said, in March to take my dad back home, because obviously he never travelled on his own. He always did it with my mum. And then after that, we're going to go back in May and scatter my mum's ashes on the beach where we scattered my nan's ashes, which was only a few years ago. So moving forward, I still want to do YouTube videos. Not sure if it's going to be Call of Duty. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing. I still love Call of Duty, and I'm hoping after Microsoft bought Activision that some things are going to change, but who knows. Anyway, that's about what I got. I just kind of want to explain what's been going on, and I really appreciate everyone sticking around, and I will see you all soon. Thanks for listening.